Hey everyone, our first set of notes for Unit 2 is going to cover comparing and ordering decimals. The most important thing to remember with decimals when you want to compare and order them is to stack them up, lining up the decimal point, and then letting the digits fall in line. So you can see I've lined up my decimal points here, and then I've let my digits fall in columns on either side of that decimal point. And so now I can see that this number, 58 5/10, is going to be larger than any of the other numbers because none of the other numbers have a value in the tens place. So 58 5/10 is my largest number. So I've got that one taken care of. Now I go to the ones place and start comparing there. And I can see that I've got a 5 and a 4 and a 2. The 5 and 85/100 is going to be my next largest number because it has a 5 in the ones place and all of the other digits have smaller numbers in the ones place. Then I'm going to compare the 4 and the 2. Again, think money, $4.72 is larger than $2.74. So 4 and 72/100 would be my next largest value here. And then finally my 2 and 74/100 would be my smallest value here. I've gone ahead and lined up my second list of numbers. One of the things that you can do, if it makes it easier for you, is you can add zeros in to these spots that are empty, if that helps you a little bit. You can always add zeros onto the end of decimal numbers without changing the value of the numbers. And so again, I'm going to start from my lead place values. In this case, I only have place values in the ones place. I don't have any tens. And I look and I've got a problem here because I've got an 8 in this ones place, an 8 in this ones place, and an 8 in this ones place. So I have to go to the next digit over. And as I'm looking, I've got a 1 here, and a 1 here, and a 0 here. And so I know that this 8 and 0/10 is going to be smaller. That's like $8 compared to 8 and 10 cents, $8.10 and $8.13. So my 8 and 13/100 is going to be my largest number here. 8 and 13/100 is going to be my largest number there. That would be followed by my 8 and 1/10. This would be like $8.10. And then that would be followed by my 8 and 0/10 would be like $8. All right, and then I've got my two numbers that have the 1 in the place value left. And so I can see that this is like $1.80 and this is like $1.18. Note that even though this 1 and 8/10 is a shorter number, it has less digits than 1 and 18/100. This is still a larger number because it has an 8 in the tens place, whereas this number only has a 1 in the tens place. So larger number in the place value means that it's larger regardless of the length. So we would put 1 and 8/10 here as our next number, and then finally our smallest number is 1 and 18/100. So be careful, you cannot just depend on the length of the number when you're dealing with decimals. You've got to line them up and compare them place value for place value. All right, let's use our inequality symbols now to compare. So here we're comparing 7 and 3/10 to 7 and 31/100. Again, if we line them up, we can see that all things are equal until we get to the hundredths place. And this number would be larger because it has a 1 in the hundredths place where this had nothing or 0 in the hundredths place. So 7 and 31/100 is larger. And so we would put 7 and 3/10 is less than 7 and 31/100. Moving over to 9 and 1/10 and 9 and 10/100. Again, if we line them up so that we can compare them, this one has nothing in the hundredths place, but remember we could replace that with a 0. So 9 and 1/10, even though it didn't have a value here in the hundredths place, is equal to 9 and 10/100 because we can always add zeros at the end of a decimal number and not change the value. So these two are equal. And then we've got our 5 and 42/100 and our 5 and 247,000. So we've got 5 doesn't tell us anything, but the 4 tells us that this number is larger. 5 and 42/100 is larger than 5 and 247,000. Notice this number is longer, but it's still less value than that number. So 5 and 42/100 is larger than 5 and 247,000. All right, looking at our last one here, we've got 3 and 785,000, and we're comparing with 37 and 8/10. Well, this one's pretty obvious, right? Because if we were thinking money, $37.80 is a lot more than $3.78 or 79 cents if we were rounding that. So 37 8/10 is larger than 3 785 thousandths. So our inequality symbol would go this way. All right, you've got this lesson down, guys.